Welcome back to the Self-Indulgent Podcast. I am your host, Mariah. How are you guys doing? A full month of 2025 is already done. That's a full month, 31 days into this new year. At the end of each month, I think it makes sense to do a check-in, and I tend to not do them often and I forget. So I think we should do a check-in. People always say that January is the longest month, and I felt that this year. I absolutely felt that this year. It is actually wild to me that it's only February because it feels like so much has changed, so much is all over the place. Everything feels very uncertain. Like I don't know where this year is going to go. I'm trying to remain grounded and focus on the things I want to do, the things I want to achieve. Devotion and discipline, like I've been talking about a lot, and why it's like difficult and hard, especially when there's all these different like internal beliefs that are happening. But something about maybe the chaos that feels there is actually helping me to lean into the discipline and devotion because it's all you can control, right? You can control your actions. That could be part of why I feel more disciplined and devoted than in the past. I'm excited to be doing this with you all. This podcast has been a great light in my life, especially after such a long break. I didn't know if I was going to come back to this, and I'm so glad I did because I feel deeply connected to it. It's really important to me. I think part of the reason why it is that for me is I get to filter through what's on my mind, my experience. Like, I want to be real with you guys. I want to share my lived experience and hoping that maybe somebody can relate, right? And it can help others and you can help me. There's reciprocity here. This is what I hope this continues to grow into. Amidst this dumpster fire that it feels like we are in right now and all these changes, it's really nice to be able to speak out and use my voice in that way when there's just so much happening and so much feels out of control. So far this year, I've been in a weird place. I feel more disciplined and devoted to some specific things that I am really pouring into and taking my time with. With that, there have been some shifts. I feel great doing this right now. Sitting in front of this camera, it makes me feel really good, like it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And then when I'm not doing it, or not editing and creating content, I feel a little disconnected. What am I doing? What am I doing? I think I felt very bored recently. Like, if I'm being honest with you, I felt pretty bored and understimulated. And it actually puts me in a really bad mood. So, something I've recognized is that when I first started grad school, that first year, I had a really hard time being alone with self. I hated being alone. It really bothered me. I think I didn't have anything going on a specific day of the week. I want to say it was Mondays, but that doesn't really make sense to me. No, it does make sense. Yes, because if I had classes on Tuesday, Thursday, and some Wednesdays, and I didn't work on Mondays, that makes sense. And so I found that the quiet days were very uncomfortable for me. And, it was a lot of like, had therapy, I was in therapy and trying to figure out, like, whoa, okay, can't sit with self. What is the discomfort in sitting with self? And I worked to heal that. I worked on enjoying my own company. And now there are weeks where I'm like, I would like to sit by myself in isolation. Leave me alone. So I have those moments. It's not often. Like, it's not the regular, I would say, right? Like, I think I'm extroverted and a people person, but I have those moments now where I'm just like, yeah, I just want to go do this by myself. And that feels really good. However, I'm back to a place where on days where nothing is happening, I am not happy. The mood is not it. The energy drops, right? So last week I had 2 great days of me just feeling really good, like getting up, going to the gym, ordering groceries, putting groceries away, getting assignments done, right? Like, and then chilling out and wash my hair, like just getting things done and feeling connected, posting content, filming, just really strong days. Then Wednesday, by the third day, I didn't have anything to do before I was like really getting in the swing of like getting an internship and starting internship and classes. We've had a lot of class cancellations at the beginning of this semester. I think that's also why January felt so long. I feel like it's taking a minute to get into the swing of semester, but I digress. So Wednesday, I had nothing going on. I was like, okay, maybe this will be my chill day because like I did do things the other 2 days. I don't feel called to do anything. I did some assignments in the morning, sat here, did some assignments, and then I crashed the fuck out. I was laid on the couch. I think it's important to recognize where your mind goes. This speaks to awareness. That's really what this podcast is. It's a bunch of self-awareness and reflection. For me, I sat on this couch, the not knowing what to do or kind of just sitting in silence, right? I think it's important to pay attention to where your mind goes when there's nothing going on and you're not being distracted by a bunch of things, right? And so my mind started to go to like, I'm bored. There's nothing to do. I don't feel excited about anything. Where is everybody? Nobody's hitting my phone. This is lonely. I don't like this. I am irritated now. Now I'm angry. I'm annoyed. Yeah, and then the mood was just so strong after that. I was so annoyed and bothered and felt like all I could do was binge TV. So that's what I did. I did some other stuff at the end of the night, but I didn't enjoy that. It was interesting to see my thoughts assist in keeping me in that mood and guided me to a place of just not being happy. It really felt like, whoa, like I don't feel connected right now. To what? That's a great question. I think, and it's sad because it was like super nice outside. It was like 50 degrees. And then I was just like making excuses of like, well, the ground is wet because it rained yesterday. So I'm not going to lay in some grass. I don't like this town. Like, there's nothing to do. There's no places for me to go and try to do work or change my environment. Like, there's just nothing going on. The libraries around here are really small, tight, and old. And people I know are probably busy. Nobody's thinking about me. Like, that's kind of where the energy was. And I was very aware of it. I had therapy, and my therapist was like, we got into this whole thing. We talked about some stuff, and I got emotional. It was like one of the first times with this new therapist that I've cried in front of her. Anyway, like, are you kidding? I cry in therapy. I've cried in therapy. There's been a time where I've cried every therapy session for months. And so, but this was my first time crying with her, particularly. And at the end of it, I was explaining my day and my irritation and all these things and just not feeling right. What I wasn't able to verbalize at the time was feeling very understimulated. I did say I was irritated, all this stuff, and I just felt very disconnected, all these things. One of my goals in therapy is to get more into the body, right? I talk a lot about body work here because I have a pattern of dissociation that comes and goes depending on what's going on. I didn't feel strongly about anything. I didn't feel connected to anything, and I felt uncomfortable. So she was saying by the end of the session, she had asked, did you feel connected to your body today? And I was like, or do you think you were connected to your body today? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And she was like, because you're telling me that you didn't feel like after you did your work in the morning, you didn't feel like doing anything. And your body was kind of like in a lower vibe. And so you chose, you sat and you kind of listened to your body. It sounds like, based on all the other stuff that we talked about, you had some things to process. This was also coming off of a really strong, high energy 2 days. And then there was a drop off. I've talked about how, like, when we are always on go, your body can't process. Like, your body processes emotion, needs time to process, like, emotion, feelings, and things like that. It sounded like that's kind of what happened. Like, you listen to your body, you sat, and you kind of process things, even if, you weren't, like, sitting there happy about things, but it kind of sounds like you thought through some things, you had to acknowledge some feelings, and then you cried in front of me for the first time. So it's so interesting how we can perceive and interpret things for ourselves, and why it's so important to get some feedback from others as well, especially a professional who sees things so differently and more objectively. And so it was interesting, and I was like, huh, you kind of ate me up with that one. You kind of ate me up with that one. I guess I was kind of in my body a bit. And again, it kind of ties back to something I talked about a few episodes of, like, feeling like taking care of myself is a chore, not feeling good in taking care of myself due to things in childhood. And it was like, whoa, I took the day to take care of myself. So yeah, there was still some discomfort because there's like this i- unconscious, or not unconscious anymore, there's this internal belief that I'm still working on, that it is a chore to take care of self, which can lead into all different things, right? Like, am I wasting time? Like, what am I doing? Like, instead of just letting myself vibe and chill out, kind of have this adverse reaction to it. And I was sitting with it anyway, even though I wasn't thrilled about it. It's just interesting how we process things. And so, coming back to talking about being understimulated, I think what I'm realizing in this first month of the year is how understimulated and a little bored I am with life right now. Aside from when I'm doing this is great. I love doing this. But this is like a slow process, right? Like, we're still like learning things, trying to grow the community. So, once I film, then I have to wait until I edit to come back to doing this and being immersed in what I'm loving doing right now. I'll go and then I'll edit and get excited about it and then go to post it, and then silence. You know what I mean? Not, and I'm not saying like from an engagement perspective. I'm just saying like, oh, okay, well, that's it. It's like this build up for it to just be like, meow, until I film again, right? And then I'm in a really good mood when I film. So it's not like I'm just filming all the time. And so I think I'm realizing how, in finding so much excitement and love for this, I'm seeing it's amplifying the areas in which I feel lack, I think. And I'm trying to live more abundant, right? Like, I'm trying to raise that frequency and vibration, and it's hard. There are two things that I'm trying to be mindful of. One being that I don't need to be stimulated all the time. Like, I don't need to be doing something all the time. I don't need to be go, go, go all the time. I'm not going to feel happy all the time. I'm not going to feel positive all the time. I think that's not really what I'm looking for. It is okay to rest. I think I genuinely want to do more. Like, I think I'm ready for that. And I think how long January took, it kind of showed me that I think I'm ready for that. I'm ready for more when it comes to this space. I'm ready to lean into more things, and I want to be surrounded by more people. I want to cultivate community. I want to build my tribe. This month helped to sit in this because it showed me what's working and what's not. Where am I really fulfilled and what is lacking? And needing more investment. I urge you all to take a look at January and what it meant for you, and the things that have really stuck with you and have impacted you already as the year has started. How do you want to feel by the end of the year, right? Like, well, I mean, we don't have to make it that big, but you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you want to do by the end of February, is there a shift that you want to see, that you want to work towards, that you want to embody? I talked about embodiment in my vision board episode. And I think ways to raise that frequency, that abundant frequency, and materializing a lot of the things that you are looking for is through embodiment, right? For me, how would I show up if I had 10K subscribers? How would that version of myself talk to you guys? What would they talk to you about? What would she be interested in? How would she want to communicate? How is she feeling in the space? Once you have that, then do that now. Show up that way now, right? So it's like you're kind of aligning all the things that need to be aligned for that to come to fruition, right? Because when you think about goals and achievements and things that you want, it's interesting. It's funny because when we're thinking about goals and achievement, oftentimes what we really are looking for from them is a feeling. Like, we're chasing a feeling that we think we can achieve through the goal. But really, you can create that feeling now. you can, that feeling that you're chasing, the more you chase it, you're kind of amplifying this current state of lack and perpetuating that vibration. So why not? This whole fake it till you make it Delulu manifestation or Delulu reality thing has some validity. If you think that once you have all these things, it'll bring on this feeling, right? Feelings are fleeting. So yeah, it'll probably bring you that thing. For like, how many celebrities, artists, whatever we know that are like, yeah, I got the thing. It felt good for like the thing that I've been fighting for all this time. I got it. And after about 10 minutes, hard drop, right? And it kind of speaks to those 2 days I was talking about the beginning of last week where I was feeling good, I was doing the thing and da da da. And then I had this like hard drop off. And the only thing that changed was my feelings and my energy, right? I didn't set myself up to have anything to look forward to. So the energy just got stale and stagnant and it dropped off when it was like, Mariah, you cultivated that energy yesterday. You were in that energy yesterday. Just because you're not filming today doesn't mean you still can't cultivate that energy. It was actually me. It wasn't the filming, the podcast that necessarily brought the energy. I brought the energy to the podcast. I can always cultivate it. And it's so hard. I mean, it's so easy to forget that. And sometimes you just need to recharge. There's nothing wrong with that. This is why I think gratitude is so important because it does kind of help remind you and bring you to this state of like abundance, right? Like, wow, I have so much going for me. There is so much happening. I'm so grateful. I love myself. I love life. I get to wake up this morning. I get to warm up for my day. I'm not saying morning routine anymore. I kind of want to go into this whole spiel about warming up for your day. I had made a TikTok about I'm seeing the importance of getting ready and getting up. I talked about this briefly in my last episode, but after I filmed, somebody left a comment saying how it's so true. Just being able to have my gym fit ready and get dressed for the gym, or if I don't want to gym, just do 10 minutes walking on the treadmill. Right, let's just do 10 minutes on the treadmill. And then she's like, by the end of that, she's like, oh, I might as well lift. It clicked in my head. That was the warm, right? The treadmill was the warm up. She had to warm up to get going, to dust off the cobwebs, to get into the energetic state that she needed to get into in order to do the lift, right? So, this is what I mean by we create it, we bring the energy, we cultivate the energy. The thing doesn't do it. We do it. And so sometimes we just need a warm up. So instead of a morning routine, because I'm tired, I know that sounds horrible. I love morning routine videos. They're super inspiring to me. They do kind of help kick me into high gear, right? I'm not saying that I hate morning routines. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that the way it's been sensationalized on social media is a little unhelpful to an extent. If the intention is to help others with a morning routine, then I think it's a little bit unhelpful because when you're trying to instruct somebody on how it should be, it can be discouraging. Waking up at 5 a.m. ain't easy for everybody. Like, it's helpful for me to watch the 5 a.m. morning routine videos that we see on social media because it is inspiring to me, but I also understand that I do not have capacity for that right now. I do not have capacity to wake up at 5 a.m. The problem with some of the morning routine stuff is that you can end up with a bad relationship to it, right? To the routines of things because it's a quick easy pipeline to beating self up because I didn't do it this day, or I'm not in routine, and really catastrophizing what that means and blaming self. Some people don't necessarily need extensive structure in the morning. That's just me being picky about thinking about it as a morning routine because some of us I'm a recovering perfectionist. Right? I have very perfectionistic tendencies in specific ways, and it has made me very inflexible in how I operate in life. And so it has not been helpful to think about it in that way. I ended up giving up the morning routine in general, even though there are habits like that I do in the morning. I have dispelled creating a structured, strict morning routine. Now, what is more helpful to me is a warm up. thinking about it as a warm up. Let me go warm up for my day, right? Let me like you would do for anything that you're about to take on, right? So like athletes warm up before a practice, before a game. They have to, or they're not going to perform their best. And so that's how I'm starting to think about it for my day to day. It's like I have to warm up for my day. If I don't warm up for my day, then yeah, I'm gonna feel a little shitty. Gonna feel a little shitty, potentially. But yeah, I like the idea of getting myself hyped up and warmed up for the day. And it just makes so much sense that way. So for me, it's been thinking about things. It's been a week since I started thinking about it like this. And I've really leaned into my sense of fashion or things that I want to wear and makeup and getting ready in that sense because it 1000% does shift the way that I feel about the energy. I like putting myself together. I like feeling a little put together. It helps confidence, of course, right? And it's not to say that I'm need these things per se, but it does add a little bit of oomph to things. Makes me feel a little bit more awake, right? It makes me look a little more awake. It's helpful to kind of just start, right? It's like, let's light the fire, throw a match on it. I think that can be really helpful. That's something I've been pretty consistent in. Most days I'm picking out my outfit the night before, unless I have extended time in the morning. But I'm picking out the outfit the night before instead of just throwing on a bunch of things the morning of and feeling a little all over the place, right? If that's the energy you're bringing to your morning of like, "Ah, I don't care." It's less about the makeup and the clothes and more about the energy you're bringing to it. If my energy is I don't care, and that's the warm up. That's how you're starting your day with I don't care. It's gonna show. People will feel that. Not that I'm doing it for people, but the energy that I want to exude and cultivate is not I don't care. I don't want that. I don't care about self or I'm miserable or whatever the case is. That's not how I want to walk around. That is not the energy I want to move through rooms with. I want to put that energy out there. There are some other things that I think will help warm up my day that I have not implemented just yet. I want to do some sort of grounding exercise or just something to boost the mood really quick, whether that be deep breathing or quick affirmational things that I say to myself. Watching something that I like while I'm getting ready and listening to certain things while I'm getting ready has really helped me because, again, it's like distracting these automatic default thought processes in mornings that I've had for quite some time. So, between my affirmations and something that I'm interested in, not necessarily drama or the news. I'm not listening to that in the morning. That's not how I want to warm up for the day. Topics I'm interested in, people with high energy, those kinds of things help warm me up for the day, right? Like it kind of puts me in a different vibe, whatever that energy is that I need to feel good and ready to go. So between that and the affirmations, they've really helped distract just these automatic thought processes that I've had about mornings for a really long time. As somebody who had intense Sunday scaries, like, oh my God, there was a time where you can ask my best friend, there was a time where the Sunday scaries were so bad for me. It was so intense. It was painful and it would happen every week. Even though I would make it through the week, it would happen every week. There were days where it wasn't just Sunday. It was not just Sunday where it was like I'm dreading the morning. Of course, I'm going to continue to dread it. I'm bringing that energy to the morning. I'm bringing the stuff of today. I'm going to bed with it and then waking up with the energy from the day before and all the fears, anxieties, and we got to shake that off. We have to shake that off to have a fresh new day and allow for all the possibilities and opportunities that we have each day, right? Like this is we need making the most of life. This is how you can kind of cultivate that energy is through like let's rinse it all off. Like let's shake it all off. This is a new day. This is my day. So now I'm going to do whatever I need to do to feel good this morning, regardless of where I'm about to walk out to, regardless if I don't like my job, regardless if I don't like my coworkers. Those are just examples. I like my job and I like my coworkers, but regardless of, oh, I have this exam today. I'm tired today. I have this long ass meeting. It literally doesn't matter. Don't let that energy feed in, and worrying about it at the end of the night and bringing it into the sleep and then the morning the next day is really you're setting yourself up for this mundane, repeating feeling like you need to dissociate, feeling like you don't like what's going on, feeling like life is not worth it right now. This is how we get into those automatic patterns without even realizing it, when it's just like, whoa, my morning is for me. I get to take this time to do whatever I need to do to feel like me, to feel good, to feel grounded. I'm going to take that time, take that moment, take advantage of it. I think you'll immediately start to see shifts and change because you've already shifted the energy. You've already shifted your energy. You've raised the vibration. You're in a different frequency. And now I promise you, the stuff that you were dreading, they're not going to seem that deep anymore. They're not. It's just not going to happen. The same way you warm up for a workout and then all of a sudden something in your brain shifted and you're like, oh shit, yeah, no, I want to go lift now. Like, I want to keep going. Why would I stop now? I feel good. Let's keep it. Even if I'm out of breath, once those endorphins start, that's it. And so that's how we need to start thinking about our mornings to set the tone for the day. Where gratitude is really nice is ending the night with that too, right? Of course, you can do it in the morning. I tend to listen to some things and very affirmational in the morning in repetitive like mantras and stuff like that. And then going to bed, I think, is a great time to just lean into that gratitude, right? Because you're repositioned, even if you had a hard day, you're kind of pulling yourself out of that energy, recognizing what you do have and what you are grateful for, and still acknowledging and validating not feeling great. That's fine. I'm not telling you not to feel great, right? Again, we're not going on this positive, toxic positivity. That's not what this is about. It's okay to recognize and validate your negative feelings. And also, you can't sit there forever at the same time. I think it's a nice thing to do is to maybe at the end of the night, acknowledge the things that you didn't feel great about, whether that be through journaling, just talking to yourself. I do think I want to start talking out loud to myself more because it gets scary when it's trapped in here. It gets real crazy. Scary place. So I think talking to yourself, you'd be surprised how many people actually talk to themselves. There's a lot of people that I listen to that I enjoy that do say they talk to themselves out loud. Why not? That's so real. Why not talk to myself out loud? Who cares? Who gives a shit? Right? I'm not do it like in the grocery store. It's more like, do I need mac and cheese? Did I already have that at home? Maybe I should ask for it. Like something like that. I'll say that out loud. But I'm not talking to myself in the ways that I'm saying you should at the end of the night. Like, talk to yourself about acknowledge what didn't go well. Like, talk about that conversation. Didn't really feel good. Why didn't it feel good? What made it feel weird for me? I was really tired. That was a rough client that I had to see. They really took a lot out of me. And then speak to what you're grateful for. Despite all that, I made it home safely. I got to the end of the day. I did what I had to do, and I'm still here and I'm grateful for that, right? And then that kind of allows you to release some of that energy from the day if you did have a harder day. And when you wake up in the morning, warming yourself up and continuing to dispel the previous day through affirmation, through whatever music, whatever needs you to get you going, that coffee. Listen, if that cup of coffee, if you love that cup of coffee, take your time making that cup of coffee. Take your time, cherish it, be slow with I feel like I'm like make love to the coffee. Like that's what I feel like I'm saying to you right now. Um, but it's true. Like, I mean, you need to take them wins in the morning, right? And when you know you have a long day and just you got you, right? I got myself. Like I got me. I will be okay no matter what. I love myself. I will be okay no matter what. I will be okay. And all the good stuff, the music, whatever creators you like, whatever you like to listen to, taking time with skincare, whatever it includes, figure out what you need to warm up for your day to continue to cultivate this energy. The reason I went on that tangent, it wasn't really a tangent, but it just, I'm speaking to what I've realized this month is that we create the feeling, we bring the energy. It is never the things. If I can bring this energy, I can cultivate the energy I need when I need it, and I don't have to wait on the doing the thing. I don't have to wait on the success. I don't have to wait on the achievement to feel that feeling. If you can cultivate the feeling of success and achievement just because you woke up and feeling grateful for that, can you imagine how your life would change? You would be unstoppable. Nobody could tell you shit. Like somebody could say you're ugly and you'd be like, "Oh, thanks." Like that's dramatic. I'm sorry. That was a bit corny. But you get what I'm saying. The energy, you control your energy. We often give our power away to others, to things, to moments that in very harmful ways we take into our next day and our next day, and then all of a sudden a month has gone by, and then all of a sudden 2 months have gone by. Last year, like, and I'm speaking from experience, last year I let, granted, and valid for all of these things, like, again, you crash out, you crash out. Sometimes you got to go low to get back up. I get it, right? That's why there's so many people who have had like successful comebacks from a rock bottom. But I really let something specific have so much power over me for a full year. A full year. I was not myself. I really let it eat away at me. I gave so much power to it. And, I had to go through ego death because I had to reassess what is really important and valuable to me and what truly matters. I had so much wrapped up in this thing, and when it wasn't there anymore, it was like, oh, crushed, 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 crushed. But when you give yourself the time and take back your power, regardless of the things that happen, because you know how to cultivate the energy that you need when you need it, you won't need to be so externally focused. Like, you won't need the thing. You can just create that energy whenever you feel like it and feel good about it. I think it's like speaking to slowing down, taking things moment by moment so that you don't wake up one day and you're like, whoa, 6 months of the year has passed and I'm still feeling this way. Like, I'm still worried about this thing. I still feel like I'm being held back. I feel like I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm feeling like I'm not fulfilling, like, bleh. That's why it's so important to check in with yourself, and why I wanted to share my reflections of January and what I've been thinking about as I move into February and the shortest month of the year, and kind of want to make sure that I'm focused and aligned and understanding where I'm at so that I don't continue to just have this spillage that is not helpful and not useful to me, so I can continue to shift. So for me, earlier I said I've been very understimulated, so I'm going to work to find ways to. Clearly, I have more energy. I have more energy to give. And I think sometimes I get scared based on previous experiences that if I give more energy and I really invest more energy, then I'm going to deplete myself and I'm going to crash out and I'm not going to be able to handle it because I've had moments like that. But it's okay. I can allow myself to expand and grow and use this excess energy and just see what happens, because I'm going to take care of myself regardless. I can be secure in that I'm going to take care of myself regardless. I want to lean into that more into this next month. And if I'm feeling understimulated, okay, let's figure out how we're going to use the excess energy that you have to put into other things since you feel understimulated. It's okay to start something new. It's okay to work on this thing, even if you don't know and you don't have the end result. You're not supposed to have the end result yet. You're literally not supposed to. I don't see the future. So I don't need that. So really just reinvest and what's important, what's not important, what is helping you reach where you want to go and what you want to do. And also being honest and recognizing what you actually have capacity for. There's nothing wrong with that either. Clearly have been thinking about a lot of different things this month and or in January, and now I think ready to be a little bit more active. I want to be a little bit more active, and I think I'm ready for that. I do have capacity for that. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. How was January for you? What were, I know, crazy hard time for a lot of us, so I hope that you are taking care of yourselves. But let me know how you're feeling in the comments below. And how you would like to move into February. Like what would you like to shift? What would you like to change? Or what would you like to just keep the same? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're listening to this anywhere you listen to your podcast, if you like this episode, leave a 5-star review and don't forget to follow for more episodes. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye.